So, in a nutshell, what's happened here? Very similar to when COVID TV got involved with Danny Christie's personal life.
Mm-hmm.
JDP's done the same to yours. And it's now a fully blown criminal investigation.
Yeah, no civil matter about it.
Do you want to start by telling me about your ex-husband and what life with him was like?
I got married in 2011.
Right. How old were you then?
22.
Right.
Very young, very naive. At that point in time, probably I would say I thought he was a bit of a boy who was not. Was younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
What followed was 6 years of complete mental, emotional, financial, to some extent physical torture, abuse, to the point where it completely and utterly broke me.
No, I don't know the half of what you went through. You've told me little bits and pieces throughout the time we've known each other. And one of the stories that made me go, Jesus Christ, was when you were telling me that when you were in labour, you couldn't use the gas. Why was that?
Yeah, when I was in labour with my youngest, I couldn't use the gas in a period in time because him and my friend, who were in the delivery suite with us, were passing the gas and air back and forwards amongst themselves over the top of the bed while I was trying to go through contractions.
Do you want to talk about a little bit about his drug abuse?
In the entire time I've known him, he's never, I would say, went really a day without drugs. Heavy daily cannabis user. If he didn't have a bucket in the morning when he woke up, was pure evil. He used to give the excuse, cannabis makes us normal. When in reality he was, for want of a better phrase, a dickhead without it. Anything, if he didn't have anything negative about him in that moment was my fault or the fault of everybody else around him. There was not a room in my house that didn't have holes in the walls. Same applies for doors. I had phones snapped in half, furniture broken.
You had a lot of debt run up in your
I had
name?
a lot of debt run up in my name, yeah, a lot. Still paying that off now. Contrary to what might be said online, we're split up in 2017, March 2017, when my youngest was 5 months old.
Before we get into the breakup,
Oh no,
tell me a little bit about the mental torture side of things.
I was not allowed anywhere without him. I was very rarely left home alone. I was made to believe that I was completely worthless. The emotional blackmail, if I ever tried to leave, of suicide and self-harm and threats that I would never be left alone, which have they've been proven true to some extent. By the end of it was living essentially in his hoodies and t-shirts, because if I dared dress in a way that I wanted to dress or look a way that I wanted to look, it was for somebody else's benefit.
The only time I ever saw you wear any form of dress or anything, or make any attempt to dress up, was at your daughter's first christening. Tell me a little bit about the physical abuse.
There was quite a few. As time went on, it got worse gradually. When you started bringing in like prescription drugs and heavy alcohol abuse, that tended to have a worse effect on the physical side of things. We'd had some altercations. At one point I was body slammed through a tin of paint on the floor. That was
Jesus.
Yeah. And
the size of you as well, especially back then.
Had to walk from, not mean a lot to anybody, but anybody who does know the area, I had to walk from Whitehills to Sunderland Road in the middle of the night. Covered in paint, in a nutshell, to my mum. When I was, the worst, I would say, instance was when I was about 7-8 months pregnant with my youngest.
What happened then?
I was ill through pregnancy. I was not in a good way. I couldn't eat much, didn't sleep much. He wanted to have, in his words, a few drinks and a game of poker with a friend of ours, Dean. And he came to where we lived. And I was like, that's fine. Just, I'm going to lie in bed and read my book. That was me. That's what I was going to do. And I was lying in bed reading my book. And the noise was getting beyond a joke. I couldn't sleep. I also had a little one in bed at this time. She's like coming up 2. So I went down to the kitchen and like this kitchen dining room and asked him to keep the noise down. And the first time it was like, yeah, no bother. It got louder and louder, and I was like, oh, can you keep the noise down? I'm trying to sleep. You're taking the mick a bit now. In a sense, got told to fuck clean off. That led to further arguments. I went to go back to bed. I got followed up the stairs and he dragged us out of my bedroom door, heavily pregnant, and tried to throw us over the banister of the staircase. And had it not been for the friend of ours being there, that I would have went over that banister. That would have been a thing. He then assaulted the friend. The police were called by him, if I remember correctly. Or it might have been a neighbour, could be wrong. They came out and they took him to, where did they take him? I think they took him to his dad's at that point in time. He asked to be taken to the friends and the friend refused, understandably.
Yeah.
That was probably the worst instance of violence towards me.
Tell her about the night that you actually left him.
I had a 2.5 and a 5-month-old, 2.5-year-old and a 5-month-old in the house.
Yeah.
Toddling about, 5 months old in a bouncy chair in the sitting room. I'd asked him to go up to the chippy up the road and get the tea in.
Mm-hmm.
He left. I needed stuff from the chippy and I needed milk for my daughter. And he left, and I think it was like 2 to 3 hours later when he eventually came back.
Mm-hmm.
By which point I'd made my daughter like a piggy tea, sandwiches, crisps, fruit, that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of going to the chippy into the shop like he was supposed to do, he
Yeah.
went to the local pub, which was on the same block of buildings as
Yeah.
that, and sat there, then came back with no money and no food and no milk. And I was understandably quite angry about that. And he flipped. And I mean completely flipped. So he was in the kitchen, shouting and bawling. I went back in the sitting room with my children. Now my daughter, my oldest, has autism. She used to dissect her food completely before she would eat it. She took the ham out of her sandwich and put it on top of a toy box lid and ate the bread and butter, which was not uncommon.
Mm-hmm.
The dog I had at the time, one of them, cross Staffy Rottweiler, walked past the toy box, was at nose height to her, and she ate the piece of ham. It had been there for about 20 minutes, half an hour.
Yeah.
My daughter wasn't eating it. She never did. And as a result of the dog picking the ham up, he booted the dog that hard that the dog flew into the door flew into the unit thing that was behind the door. My 2-year-old at this point is screaming, and the baby nearly jumped out of her bounties. Now, 5-month-old babies generally don't really react much to their surroundings, so for a child that age to be jumping out of her skin,
Mm-hmm.
you've got a problem going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, you know what, I've had enough. Like, I've completely had enough. And he locked us in the house as I was trying to leave. I was getting my daughter ready, my youngest, changing her nappy on the settee, and as he walked through after locking the door, punched us in the back of the head. And I knew at that point that was me done.
Mm-hmm.
At that very second, that impact, I knew, no, I'm done here. He wouldn't let us out. And it got to the point where I was on antidepressants at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I got them out and I was like, you know what? If you're not going to let us leave, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take every single one of these tablets in this bottle to the point where you've either got to let us die, you've got to phone an ambulance so I get out here.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't take any of them. I just started popping them out on the bench. I was counting them as I went out. And he unlocked the back door. And I got my kids. And I went to the metro station, which was like 2-3 minutes walk away.
Yep.
And I went to my mum's house. My little girl at the time was on antibiotic medication. He wouldn't let us get her antibiotics. She just come out of hospital.
No, I remember this day vividly.
And
because he rang me.
Yeah.
And he said, you got away with punching a lass, didn't you? I've just hit Rachel. What do I say to the police? And I hung up on him and rang you to make sure you were all right.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, we hadn't spoken for 18
Probably
months.
about 18 months, yeah. Yeah. How do I get off for domestic violence? Good fun. So yeah, I knew at that point I wasn't going back.
But when you left, that's when it really got bad.
Yeah. I contacted the police at that point and social services and explained to them, who were already well aware of the situation anyway. By this point, he'd already nearly cost us my kids on more than one occasion.
Mm-hmm. Told
Told them that was me done. I was out of there and I needed help then getting them out of my house, basically.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't very helpful, if I'm being honest. But at that point, yeah, it got really bad. I then went through what year we're in now. I've been through, I would say, 8 years basically now of.
Tell about some of the stalking at the start, and then we'll move on to when he beat your mum up.
Yeah. At the start, it was constant text messages, phone calls, begging. If it wasn't abuse, it was begging.
Mm-hmm.
It was non-stop. Can't even say non-stop morning till night because it went through the night most times. If I blocked his number, I was getting emails. He was turning up at my door. I had him outside my mum's house, spraying on the windows.
And you didn't have a restraining order at this point?
No, at this point. I was trying to get a non-molestation order put in place at this point.
Mm-hmm.
At this point in time, the police dealt in PIN notices, which are not really...
Yeah, I remember.
They don't use them anymore. That's how useful they were. Yeah, there was times I was at my mum's and I would get a phone call from him off a withheld number and he would be in the process of popping my windows out of the frames,
mm-hmm.
telling us that when I got back to my house he was going to be hiding in there somewhere. There was an incident where I was in the house with my 2 daughters and he turned up out of the blue and I had the chain on the door and he tried to break into my house, mm-hmm. and I had to stab him through the hand at that point to get his arm out of the door just to be able to lock it. I had a panic button in the house. Press the panic button, waiting for the police to turn up. By the time they got there, he was long gone. The
police thought you were making it up, didn't they, to begin with?
For a period of time,
calling them
yeah.
that often, and
mm-hmm.
by the time they got there, he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Sitting in the bushes opposite.
Yeah, that was all going on throughout that time. Quite regularly, he would appear sitting in the bushes. I would have friends coming over on a night time and like they'd seen him, he was either loitering in the street, mm-hmm. or sitting in the bushes straight facing me house, watching me house. I had and
he was making wild accusations as well, wasn't he? About who was in your house.
People being in my house, but I wasn't even in my house and there was people in my house.
Mm-hmm.
He made a phone call to social services at one point saying that my kids needed to be taken into care because I was on heavy drugs.
Mm-hmm.
I was drug tested and came back completely clean.
I know.
He, however, had one of the highest levels of opioids and opiates in his system that they had on their record,
mm-hmm.
Which is the reason why I was never allowed around his children unsupervised from that moment. Yeah, so he was loitering outside my house. There was one incident where I was in the bath and I heard a knock at the door about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. And I got up and there was nobody there, but there was a bag with 2 Easter eggs hanging on my door with a little note saying, "Tell them Daddy loves them." And he was in the bushes across my street. It was horrible having to constantly look over your shoulder, knowing that constantly somewhere somebody's watching you all of the time. He hacked my phone and was tracking me location.
Sorry.
Yeah, thanks.
I taught him how to do that, didn't
Yeah, I know. He hacked me phone. He literally cloned me phone.
I didn't, just for the record, I didn't teach him how, I taught him how to do this stuff when they were still together. I didn't realise at the time the abuse that you were going through.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly was never my intention for it to be used against you. It was like, oh, just look at what you can do on these Apple settings.
Yeah, he cloned me phone. So he knew, he seen what every message I got, he got. Anytime I got a phone call, he got a log of it. Everywhere that I went, he knew where I was within like 8 feet. I'd be like at the pub with my mates and I would get a phone call saying, I've just went past you in a red car.
Yeah.
You're in the Nag's Head on Gates Tie Street. And it was horrible. I couldn't do anything. It was awful. Mentioned before, he was a heavy abuser of prescription painkillers. Predominantly tramadol, oxycodone, oxycontin, that sort of thing. But he would take anything to get his hands on. July 2017, I had been in hospital with what they thought was a really, really severe migraine. And they sent us home after a night with codeine. And he was aware of this. And he wasn't supposed to be anywhere near my house, but he'd rang us saying, I need some painkillers. And I was like, look, I am in a really bad way. My legs were in agony. I've never felt pain like the pain I had in my head.
What was wrong with you, sorry?
I had meningitis.
You said migraine.
Yeah, well, that's what they thought it was.
That's what they thought it was.
I got discharged the first time from South Tyneside Hospital. They told us I had a migraine.
A migraine?
And sent us home. So, yeah, was pestering us on the phone for painkillers, and I was like, no,
because it sent you home with some codeine.
Yeah, I was like, just
and
fucking leave us alone. Just leave us alone. Like, you're not getting me painkillers.
Because you need them to
because I needed them for my pain. Yeah. Now at this point, like, I can't see properly. I'm lying on my couch. I can't move. My legs are killing. I'm vomiting. I've never felt anything like it. And I rang my mum. I was like, stomach's not right. I need help. And my mum was like, just phone it. My mum's a qualified nurse. She's like, just phone an ambulance. I'll come along and get the kids. So I phoned 999 and said, look, I'm not right. Something's not right. I need somebody here. To the best of my ability, that's what I articulated. I was lying in the middle of my floor and suddenly my back door swung open and there he was. And he come storming in. Now I'm literally at this point dying on my sitting room floor, unable to even get off all fours. And he's rummaging through my house, kicking off, he wants me codeine. As he's coming in the back door, rummaging through my kitchen, looking for me codeine, my mum come through the front door. Now, you've met my mum in abundance of times. My mum's like 5'4", about 7 stone wet through. She's coming up 70. She's an old lady. Sorry, mum. And my mum was like, you're not supposed to be here, out. And she tried.
A restraining order. There wasn't a restraining order.
It was through social services had said you had to stay away or I was going to lose my kids, and he just didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
So my mum,
social service actually said to you, if I
can't keep them away, they can't leave my kids with me.
Yeah, because you can't safeguard your own children.
Yeah. And he still wouldn't stay away. My mum was trying to usher him out the house, and he put his hands on my mum. He flung her across my kitchen, hit my mum a couple of times. And as he was assaulting my mum in the kitchen, the paramedics walked through my sitting room door. And he'd done a runner straight out the back door. So they tended to my mum, they tended to me, they got me an ambulance, took me to QE Blue Light. I was in hospital for 3 weeks. Had it been another 12 to 24 hours, I probably wouldn't be here. Yeah. So that was very lucky. So yeah, that was him assaulting my mother.
Talk about some of the other people he's assaulted. In fact, talk about his brother and the other thing I'm going to say. Right,
well, we'll do them in chronological order. My mother agreed after they got a hold of him at the Christmas time, he'd evaded arrest for quite a period of time, to postpone pressing any charges on the condition that he left me alone. And he did for about 3 to 6 months. March 2018, I was at work and I got a phone call. Might have been March, April 2018. Can't remember the exact date off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Got a phone call from a mutual friend saying that he'd been locked up after a psychiatrist appointment, where instead of coming to give me the £200 that he owed me,
Mm-hmm.
he'd went on the drink and got some cocaine and went on a bit of a bender in Shields.
South Shields.
South Shields, yeah. And then on his way home, got into an altercation with some children at South Shields Metro platform and ended up heavily assaulting 2 14-year-old girls and I think it was a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah. He headbutted
one
of the
girl.
14-year-old girls.
And I've got the picture of the lad's leg, who was wearing a pair of jeans and a pair of tracksuit bottoms underneath, and he managed to bite through them both and take a chunk of flesh out of this lad's leg.
Now, talk about the backlash that you and your kids got.
I was getting messages off people online who'd managed to somehow track him down to where I lived, that he was, because I went to court, and that he was at some point in time in a relationship with me and that he had children of his own. And it was like a witch hunt, like pitchforks.
Like very much you've hurt our kids, we're going to hurt your kids.
Yeah, that was the...
After you've already completely left them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd been free of him. I'm saying free of him. I'd left him for a year at this point.
Well, you're not even free of them now, are you?
No.
Thanks to Jake.
Thanks, Jake. So yeah, that was March 2018. Christmas 2001 was the next really serious incident. Oh no, there was an assault on a taxi driver in Scotland somewhere in amongst there as well. I can't remember what that was over, in a McDonald's car park. I think it was him refusing to pay the fare and the taxi driver wanted some form of collateral or something like that. But yeah, Christmas 2021. He was only allowed supervised contact with the kids at this point still, because he refused to do any work with any sort of services.
Yeah.
I took my daughters down to his dad's house where he was staying to see their granddad and their grandma. And after I'd left, there'd been an altercation occurred where he found out his younger brother had prescription drugs of some sort. I can't remember precisely, but I think it was Valium or something to that
I think
extent.
It was Valium, actually.
Valium or temazepam or something like that. And for whatever reason, he wanted them off him. Sorry.
It's okay, I'll believe it.
For whatever reason, he wanted them off him. And he wouldn't give them. The brother will tell you he wanted them to take them. He'll tell you he wanted them to flush them down the toilet because he didn't want them in his dad's house. I know which one I believe out of the two. He ended up assaulting his brother and his dad's partner.
What day was this?
Christmas Day.
Well, I'll put the photo on screen of what he did to his brother.
You'll not be able to recognise him, so it's
yeah.
He literally completely disfigured, and if I rightly remember, brain damaged his brother that day with his bare hands.
I've not seen his brother for a long time, but I liked his brother.
Yeah, for all he has his issues, he wasn't a bad kid. But yeah, what he done to his brother with his bare hands was one of the most horrifying things I've ever seen in my life. And that was literally hours after I'd left with my children. And in trying to stop him, he flung his dad's partner across the room. She ended up losing a tooth. Smashed her face off a bedside table.
So then moving forward a little bit, he moved down south.
No, this was when he'd done that when he came back up. He moved down south.
Yeah, my timeline on this is all over the shop.
It's all right. It doesn't matter. There's so much.
I mean, what's going in this video is literally not even 20% of it.
Between 2018,
it's the stuff that you're comfortable talking about.
Prior to lockdown, I would say.
Okay.
Because the twins were lockdown babies.
What is MAPA 3?
MAPA 3 is, MAPA stands for Multi-Agency Public Protection Arrangement. MAPA 3 is level 3 of a possible 4. Now, level 1 being the lowest, level 2, next one up. Level 3 is the highest level of MAPA coordination you can be under without being a terrorist or an SO. And he is neither of those things.
This time.
So, When he moved down south, he went down to Plymouth for work and met a girl from Birmingham. And he moved to Birmingham pretty much instantly with this girl. They were together for quite a short period of time when she fell pregnant.
With twins.
With twins. Lovely little kids they are. When the twins were just turned 1, they were. He assaulted that girl to within an inch of her life, to the point where I think he thought she was dead when he left her. I'm not going to go into detail for her sake, but repeatedly, from what
it's worth pointing out as well that you're friends with her.
I get on really well with her.
Because when he initially met her, he blamed everything
Everything was my fault,
in his life.
He still does. When he got out of, well, I'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
When he got out of, he got locked up for that, in a nutshell.
And what were the offences?
The original offences that he was charged with, off the top of my head, don't quote us because I could be wrong.
I can tell you if you can't remember.
Were 2 counts of wounding with intent, I believe.
Yep.
GBH.
Yep.
There was harassment.
Threats to kill.
And something else.
And how long did he get in prison for that? What was the sentence he got?
For that, he got 4 years, 10 months.
Which he's still serving now out on
He's on licence for the second time.
We talk about the first time he got out. Actually, he wrote to you, didn't he?
He wrote to us when he first got locked up about how I was his only support and he needed me to stand by him. And I wrote back to him telling him some home truths and not to contact us again.
When did you get the restraining order?
I got the restraining order. He got out on bail and was bailed to Gateshead. Now, within him getting out on bail, I moved pretty much instantly, because when he got out on bail, he walked out of the gates of the prison, rang my phone and went, "This is your fault."
Your fault that he chinned his new lass.
That was my fault.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Obvs.
And was demanding he was coming up. He was coming at my house where he wasn't allowed to be, and he wanted to see his kids. And I was like, "We're going to arrange, you can see them at your dad's house. You're allowed them supervised, but you're not coming near me. I'm coming to see my kids," and so on and so forth. So I moved pretty much instantly. And within 6 weeks, he knew where I was. And he was appearing outside of my house on a daily basis, whether it was driving past multiple times. There was once or twice I seen him loitering outside. At one point, I had a children's worker in my house for a completely unrelated issue, and looked up and he was in my garden.
Jesus Christ.
With my daughter. And I was like, what in the world is, like, what the fuck, in a nutshell. I repeatedly told him that he had to stop it. At one point, I went to pick my kids up from his dad's and he was on my doorstep. I opened the door and he was on me, literally there on my doorstep. I nearly died. And I told him, I was like, "You need to stay away. You're not allowed here." And that's when the threats started again.
Well, he basically has told you several times on no uncertain terms, if he can't have you, nobody can.
Yeah, he's told us that on multiple occasions.
And this is somebody that you left in 2017.
Yeah. So we're at 2022 now, and he's still turning up outside my house on a regular basis. He won't leave me alone. I'm still getting abuse. I'm getting threats. I'm getting blackmail. I'm getting mad accusations.
Trying to have social services taking your kids off you by saying
more than one occasion,
completely off, you're not on drugs, and you've passed a hair follicle test twice.
Yeah.
To the point where, it's worth mentioning as well, to the point where the court said they wouldn't do another one on you because it's a complete waste of money.
Yeah. So eventually he was given a non-molestation order. And he breached that within 60 seconds of it being put in his hand. 2 days later, he was arrested for breach of the non-molestation order, remanded, done 6 weeks in Durham, taken in front of a Crown Court and given a lifetime restraining order and a fine.
And anybody who knows anything about restraining orders, Crown Court do not just hand out lifelong restraining orders.
No. Even the girl that he assaulted in Birmingham, I think, only got a 10-year one.
There you go. Tell me about the video call as well in your daughter.
Oh, that video call. Yeah, that was when she was about 2.5, 3, and he was having them overnight at this point 2 or 3
times a week. Did he have them
week.
both that night?
No, he never had the little one overnight. He couldn't hack it. The baby, and the getting up through the night and having to do feeds and stuff. Couldn't do it. I'm saying couldn't do it, wouldn't do it. So he had my oldest, I think she was about 2 going on 3 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a video call about 1 o'clock in the morning from him slumped in a heap on his kitchen floor,
Mm-hmm.
off his face on prescription drugs.
Yeah.
And alcohol. And my little girl's crying, running around at the side of him, like shaking him, daddy, daddy. And I had to get my little girl back, and he was never allowed them unsupervised after that point.
So it's 2022.
It's 2022. We won't leave us alone. I got the restraining order. Terms of the restraining order cover contact in every way, shape or form you can imagine. Direct contact, indirect contact. He's not allowed in Birmingham. He's not allowed to contact me directly or indirectly unless it's via a third party for legal purposes.
Mm-hmm. An agreed third party.
An agreed third party for legal purposes. So like a solicitor or a mediator or something like that.
And he's not allowed to harass you either.
No harassment in any way, shape or form.
You insisted that included via a third party.
Yeah,
and that's
because I know what he's like.
As the police officer that was here this morning confirmed.
Harassment via a third party, which means speaking to somebody and talking to them, knowing that off the back of that conversation, they're then going to go and harass me.
No.
Is included in that. He's not even so much as allowed to mention my name directly, indirectly, or insinuatingly.
Insinuate, yeah.
That he's even insinuate that he's talking about me on social media, either directly or via a third party in any way, shape or form.
So you've had the police here twice now in 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time was in regards to Jake assisting him breaching this restraining order. I'm sorry, I'm in bits about this.
Yeah, it was
about him breaking this restraining order. And what the police said is that they could go out and speak to Jake, and if he refused to tell them who his sources were, then it would be very difficult to prove.
What they said was, to be clear, they could pursue Jake for harassment. The third party would only come into play if they could prove that he'd been in contact with my ex-husband.
And they said that would be difficult to do.
Yeah.
And then last night, Jake very clearly posted a clip of him talking to your ex-husband.
Asking quite openly for information.
Well, I happen to be Rachel's ex-husband.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I've seen all the videos, all the back and forth and that. What do you want to know on them?
Everything, anything you've got, bro.
But just start off asking how many times we've slept together.
How many times have they slept together?
And I know the answer to this. How did that make you feel?
I was ill. I've had no sleep.
I've literally sat and heard her vomit this morning
I've been in bits.
I promise you, I will for bringing him back into your life. I promise you.
Legally.
Or very legally. But I promise you, if I have to go bankrupt doing it, I'll do it.
Thank you.
Should we leave it there?
Yeah.
Cool. Give us a call.